Welcome to the Right Now Show. My name is Zach Day, and on the show we have real, deep, and unfiltered conversations.
When I thought I was gonna die, I thought of one thing, bro. Not the things I did do, but the things I didn't do.
If you love yourself enough, then you're gonna call yourself out.
Don't ever let the false sense of fear interfere with your life.
The purpose of this show is to help you gain perspective on life, to help you become more intelligent, and to inspire all the people out there that are complacent with their life right now to get up and actually go for your real dream. Yeah, so we got Eric and Nina.
Yes.
You guys are professional dancers. How long have you been doing it?
You want to start us off?
I mean, I personally started when I was around 4 years old, dancing in general, or 3 years old when I was still living in Ukraine. But ballroom dancing, I started when I moved to America already. So I've been doing it for either 20 or 21 years already. Wow.
Yeah, so we've all seen like Dancing with the Stars, things like that. But how do you explain ballroom dancing? Like, is it like an art? How do you feel in the moment, like when you're doing it?
For me, it's an obsession, honestly. I mean, I grew up on stage in general, so I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry growing up. Obviously, when you're a kid, you don't really know what that is. You just go automatically to the generic, like, I want to be on the radio or in movies or on TV, whatever.
Yeah.
So I never thought I would end up being in dancing for the rest of my life, but I did all of that growing up. So I like being in the spotlight. I like showing off.
Yeah, I noticed when you guys are out there, like it's like a really physical thing. Like some people are like sweating hard, you're breathing, you're getting water when you're doing the break. So like how physically fit do you have to be in order to do this?
I think it's different from other sports.
Yeah.
Since the breathing is so sporadic, the best way to train for it is just by doing it.
Yeah.
After this comp, I was off the floor, laying on my back, trying to just catch my breath. It's sweating profusely as well. You know, It is tough.
But you would never think like just watching you because it's like it almost looks effortless.
I've played most sports. Like I did soccer full time. I played basketball. I did everything. I think this is like the most physically demanding.
Wow.
Because you're pushing yourself to your limit.
And there's so many different, I guess, limits to it because you don't have the same tempo that you're going from like cha-cha to rumba, and it's constantly changing. So that's also a really tough part of it.
Now, are you guys, when you're out there, are you like thinking like, oh, I got to do this next? And
if I zone out and my head goes to that place, you can see that in my eyes and I'm not performing anymore. So you kind of have to train all of that into your body prior to. I'll definitely honestly say that for me, like I said, I'm a little bit of a show off in that sense. So when I see somebody's watching me or there's a camera on me or something like that, that definitely wakes me back up because I will go into that zone sometimes where I start psychoanalyzing. I'm like, did I point my foot there? Did I do the arm we talked about? Did I give him the connection and stuff like that? But the second I see somebody's like right there or clapping or cheering or there's a camera in my face, I'm like, you have to get back on. You have to perform. Like,
I'm a little different. I'm a little bit more of a control freak.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Everything is a little bit more pre-planned.
right.
And the second something kind of knocks me off script,
we speak two completely different languages when it comes to dance. So
I get in my head a little bit. But then if I get back into it, I get back into it.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing.
I'm pretty sure I saw you. I didn't know you were on the floor, and you were like, you came like right in front of me. I'm like, oh shoot, that's him. I think I like stuck my tongue out, and I'm like this, and like you like recognized it. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
That was good. It's good.
It
I
was
like
just
to
funny.
see life in the audience makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the atmosphere is important. The audience is important. When people are cheering and the mood's right, I mean, it's hits better.
Yeah, definitely. So you would say like you kind of like lose yourself in the moment, like when you're out there, and it's just like a flow, like because all these moves are just like almost like a part of like your being.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory.
I mean, that's what we're trying to get it to for sure. I think that's what every dancer is trying to get it to, so you can just do it without thinking.
Now he was explaining to me the other day. So they're different songs every time, but it's almost the same routine, same moves that you guys memorize.
So the tempo, the beat is the same. That's what you're kind of. I actually
That's what we
explained this to
base the
somebody.
baseline is,
I explained this actually to somebody recently that just started dance sport, like took their first lesson ever, and I told them, I'm like, what makes us really different when we're talking on the competitive scene. When you have modern or tap or whatever, you have a specific song that you've been training this routine to for so long. We have a routine, but then you just whatever music turns on, you just have to find that beat, whether it's, you know, that samba beat or whatever, the cha-cha beat. You have to just zone into that beat and lay your routine over top.
Which is actually probably one of the highest levels of dance is you don't know the song, right? But you know the bass line, the beat. So that's what the routine is structured to. But if you can tap into, what do you call it?
Like
The
this
melody
song has the
and
little twinkles, but that sounds
yeah,
really
you can
heavy, and you
tap
kind of
into
change
that
your
while
routine.
dancing. You can kind of make it a little bit more artsy, change it slightly off the plan.
So
make
it's
more unique.
partially like it's not a freestyle because you have the moves, but you still have to change according to who's on the floor.
Oh yeah.
If people are running into you,
Right.
the tempo or the beat or like the different songs in that moment, you have to change.
Also, there's every song has a different vibe.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll have something that's hard, so you're gonna go a little harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that's like
Something that's
twinkly
little
and light. And
little light, you're gonna be a little
Yeah.
lighter. You
little more
are trying to
classy.
be in tune with the
Interesting.
music.
How about the other things? How about like the energy, your facial expressions, your body language? How much does that have to play?
A lot of that is very instinctual, I would say. Of course, it's a huge factor.
Yeah.
At some point, everyone's quality is so good. It's like what makes you stand out, and that uniqueness is what makes you stand out.
Right.
So everyone has their own personality, their own character, and at the end of the day, it's not based off points or anything like a score.
Yeah.
So it is, in
It's
a way, a
opinion-based, yeah.
popularity contest.
Yeah.
What you prefer, what you like.
Probably like your style, like what you guys are wearing.
oh yeah,
Everything,
for sure.
yeah.
everything comes into play.
You know, it's supposed to be judged just on the physicality, the dancing that's right in front of you. But you know, human error. We're all human beings. Obviously, everybody looks at someone and they're like, "Well, I like that dress more than I like that." And why did she put that in her hair? That's just weird. So I'm gonna mark her down. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be the whole thing of it, but you can't get away from it. We're people, like so.
Yeah, because
you know,
at the end of the
it does
day,
come
you
in.
make the judges feel some type of way.
Oh, yeah.
Based off your moves, based off your body language, your facial expression, your style, that all plays.
Yeah.
So what separates like a good dancer from a great dancer?
It's got to be the combination of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. I know maybe it was the first time you're watching,
It was
so it's
pretty
overwhelming.
much. Yeah.
But when you like, it's the same people all the time, right? So you get a chance to dive into it. And I got this advice one time from the judges because we're not judging yet. Instead of just staring into somebody, when you watch somebody and just lock into them, you enjoy it. You really do. But when you want to compare, you just glance one, two, and you can get a general sense of their energy, their aura, how they play together as a couple.
Yeah.
So it's really that quick that they make decisions.
Right.
But when you just watch somebody and you just stare at them, of course you like everybody. Everyone's great.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
at least how competitions work.
Definitely. So you guys are a couple. You guys dance together. What is that dynamic like to be able to flow with each other on the dance floor so easily and effortlessly?
To be honest, I think that dance-wise, I find it the easiest to dance with her. We have a lot of ties together. We're in a relationship. We have a business together, and we're dancing together. I feel that we're actually very in tune with those things. As long as we both...
Like I said before, we speak a completely different
Yeah, we
language
do.
when it
Yeah.
comes to it. And I think it comes from our backgrounds. He comes from a very athletic, you know, masculine, sporty, all of this stuff. And I come from all of the theatrical stuff. So all the artistry and everything. So sometimes not sometimes, all the time. The way that we will even talk about a topic together is we'll be talking about the same thing and fighting for the same thing.
Sure.
But we're not speaking each other's language.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of comes in.
You think it's a good thing though?
I think it adds to it. I think when you have two people driving for the same exact thing, it makes it a little bland. So it's kind
Yeah.
of nice to have, you know, I'm not a technician. Like I understand technique is important and it's valuable and it's a must.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with it. He'll tell you which millimeter this rib is supposed to move in that direction and
Yeah.
all of this. That's not me. So I'm a very psychological person. And I feel like that's something that's actually not taught in dance a lot, even though it's really highly affected in the entertainment industry, period.
Right.
If you're not strong psychologically, if you don't know what you're selling, if you don't know, like, in your eyes, like, okay, I'm going to be sexy right now, or I'm going to be, like, soft and, like, hurt or whatever. If you can't sell all of this, or if you don't know what line you're trying to hit, to me,
Yeah.
it's artificial. So I've seen so many amazing athletic dancers who are so talented and so skilled, but I'll even pick
Empty.
somebody that might be a
Yeah.
little bit lower in the quality just because I feel nothing from it.
Yeah.
So we definitely speak two different languages in that sense, but I think it kind of helps each other out at the end of the day. It fills in some gaps that the other person has. It's kind of like a yin and yang scenario.
Well, listen, if we're both thinking exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
if we're on the same page about everything, then one of us is useless, right? So it's good to have two people with different opinions.
Definitely.
Where have you found common ground since you speak two different languages? Like if I speak Russian and you speak Chinese, there has to be a common space where progress is made. So where is that safe zone that you've created, and how did you do that?
I mean, we're fighting for the same goal and we believe in the same thing. So that's our common ground. So at the end of the day, no matter how much we get like kind of, you know, frustrated with each other for whatever reason, whatever we're talking about, whatever we're fighting for, at the end of the day, we have the same path that we're trying to get to.
So you're working with the end in mind.
I would say so.
Good way to put it.
For sure. I mean, that's me. That's just for me. But I don't know if you have something different.
I think we're still working on it. I think it's a never. I
always
think it's
a
a
work in
never-ending
progress, yeah.
Now on the dance floor, what are the different roles? Like, what's your role and what's your role? Like, and how does it differ? And how does it come together?
I think a good expression is like, so she's the trophy, right?
Ah.
She's what we need to be looking at, and I'm the trophy case. So the more beautiful I am, the better I light her up, the better we can show off the trophy.
Yeah.
So my role is really to find the space on the floor.
Create the boundaries.
Correct. Create a space in my frame where she can live within.
Yeah.
Block her off from other competitors. Decide what direction we go in. When we start, I have a lot of those responsibilities in order for her to shine.
Yeah. So
So-
your goal is to show her off.
Yeah. So you could see in the best couples in the world, when the girl really stands out, you know it's being done right.
Yeah.
So when the guy's just like all by himself and macho man, I mean, some other maybe
I mean, again,
dancers like
everybody
that,
has
but
their own look. Everybody has their own thing that they're going for. But overall, I mean, this is a sport that's been around, and just a style of dance. If you even look back at like ballroom at Standard, it's been around for so many years and generations and stuff like that. If you
Yeah.
think back to like kings and queens and the beautiful ballrooms doing the waltz and stuff, you know, it's very classical at the end of the day. I mean, Latin kind of brings out that fiery side, and a little bit more, can be a little more modern with the music and this and that and all
Yeah.
of this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a classical style of dance. It's not hip hop that was just created, you know, maybe 20 years ago or something along those lines, and
Yeah.
started to get super popular. It's been around for generations and generations, just like ballet. It's like super classical as well. But
Definitely.
yeah, so
Definitely.
it still has to be the masculine and feminine role in a sense, you know.
yeah, classical gestures and
Ladylike and
protecting her and
gentlemanlike.
making sure
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
on a smooth ride.
Yeah, for sure. Now, dance is pretty much like your life. Like you guys do this, you compete, travel around the country, and then you go back and you have a dance studio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that dance studio? Like, tell me about that.
So the name of the studio is Vibe Dance Sport. We're about to head to our second year. We're about to have our 2-year anniversary.
2-year
coming up.
studio
Okay.
anniversary, 4-year anniversary of just
Yeah.
being Vibe in general. So
Owning a studio is quite difficult. It's a lot of pressure and a lot of things that need to be managed besides teaching and progressing all the students, making sure.
we
things
also
on
have
the
a very
business end.
different type of studio. We're not just like a
Yeah.
come in, take your dance lessons, and get
Most
out.
people don't do what we do. We're still dancers. Most people finish their dance career and then they do the business.
No,
aspect
most
of
people
things.
want to
True.
keep their head on their shoulders and not tear their hair out, but you know it's too boring for us. So
Yeah.
no, we literally, I mean, what we fell in love with is what we're trying to pass on to all of our students and our clients, and share that love of the industry that we fell in love with, regardless of any politics or anything like that. So for us, it's really a one-stop shop. At least that's what we're trying to make it to be. We have an atelier in the studio where you can grab your practice wear and your beautiful Aida shoes that all of our lovely dancers wear.
Yeah.
And tanning and hair and makeup. We book all the appointments. We do all the registration. You know, we're psychologists, we're therapists, we're physical therapists. Like we really
Sure.
try to give them everything. And something that makes our studio really different, which I just sat down and had this realization recently, and I was like, do you realize that all of the coaches in our studio, every single one, is an active competitor? That's never been like, we've never seen anything like that. You know, usually you see somebody that, like he said, went through the rankings, did their due diligence, did their time in the craft and stuff like that. And then they're like, okay, I'm retired. Now I'm going to teach, or now I'm going to open up a studio. I mean, there's a lot of dancers that teach actively to support their dancing, but they are not like, you know, full on in
aspect,
something in the business and stuff. But when I look at it, I'm like, every single one of our coaches is an active competitor and on a very
What's the slogan?
made by dancers for dancers. So in general, that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create one hub, one house where you can go and you can get every single piece of information you need. Because I remember when we were growing up, like there wasn't such a thing as practice wear. Everybody would put on their like Victoria's Secret pink yoga pants and go, and the boys would put on like track pants and that's it. There was no style to it. There was nothing like that. You know, costumes, you would have to kind of figure out, like, oh my God, who do I go to? Where do I go? What is it? What is a Swarovski stone compared to a Prakosia? I don't know what this is. But yeah, we're just trying to educate as much as we can because it's what we fell in love with. So
I think having a dance studio was inevitable for us. We grew up in Philadelphia. That's where we're based. And when I was, by the way, my backstory, I started a little bit late. I was 11-ish, 12 when I started dancing. The studios that we had, the first studio I was a part of was in the back of a sports like a gym. That for a couple of years they had a back room, and then I moved into another studio that was also rinky dink. It was in the Jewish Community Center. Oh, I can't speak. Jewish Community Center. Floors are all banged up, ripped up. The changing room was a public bathroom. Like it was gross. That's kind of how it was when we were growing up. So at one point I wanted to really push my career. So I started to travel to New York and some places that were better for dance. And I got to see what it was like. And I was like, how unfortunate it is that Philadelphia didn't have what we needed to really push our careers. So I always had it in my mind, I was like, we're going to have to make something in Philadelphia.
I love that.
You know? So we opened up a really nice studio, state-of-the-art, floors are nice sound system, nice lighting that sets the mood right. Basically have everything like Nina mentioned. We have a boutique which sells everything. Like you go into our studio, you have everything you need. We even invite guest coaches that are the top of the top instructors in the world. Best products in the U.S. Shoes, it's the best product. Practice wear, it's just the top of the line. So we went from the bottom, as you could say, to the top, and we're trying to keep pushing it.
It's awesome.
So yeah, I think it was just inevitable. It was either be at the bottom or make it ourselves.
Sure. Why do you guys love to teach?
I feel like there was a point in my life where it just clicked. I was like, I just love this, and I wanted people to feel and experience what I feel.
Yeah,
because it didn't happen right away for me, but attending all these big events and seeing what the life is like, I just wanted to spread that. So we have such a small community, right? There's not a lot of people that are invested in ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to send it to the next generation.
I love that. How about you?
It's hard. That's a loaded question. Actually, it's funny because my mom, when I've actually committed to teaching, was like, I am in shock. Like, I never expected, like, I knew all the artsy stuff, but I never expected you to be teaching.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I did not think you had the patience for that. But, I don't know. I think I just like sharing my passion with other people. Like, I'm a very involved coach.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those coaches, like I've had some of my girls, like as they get older, obviously, but I've had some of my girls call me at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, having a mental breakdown going, I'm not good enough. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Like for me, it's just being able to guide somebody through something. not exactly. I mean, you hear this all the time with kids. It's like, you tell them what to do. Like, don't do that. But you have to make your own mistakes and kind of learn from it.
Sure.
I find kids, I remember myself as a young teenager and even younger than that. I remember I always looked up to my coaches. Like I always wanted to hear like, oh, what color would I look good in? Like, or what dress should I do? Like I always was craving this attention from my coaches. Whereas, sometimes with parents, like, kids get bratty and it's like, oh, you know nothing.
Yeah.
But they look at their coach and it's like to their coach is like the star figure in their eyes of everything. And I think I just really fell in love with being able to inspire people, like a younger generation, not even the kids, because I have adults that I teach as well that are super dependent and like and need that extra guidance, that extra little bit of support, or sometimes a kick in the ass, honestly, like because everybody needs that. So I don't know. Like I said, I take everything from a really big psychological standpoint. So for me, just passing that on, like even with my opinions, or I like to ask my students why all the time. They'll come into a lesson and they're like, well, this person told me to do that, and I'm like, okay, why? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, why are you doing this, Arn? Because you told me to. I'm like, then there's no point in it. I get very like mentally twisted with them. And I think that's a really cool thing, especially when you see that in the younger kids. Like he tells me all the time, I have my little band of misfits, my little younger
gang.
My little gang of girls that they're all like, I'm Mini Nina, no, I'm Mini Nina, no, I'm Mini Nina.
Yeah.
But these 10-year-old girls are like, some of them are training more than some of our adult kids. Like they're insane. Like, and he's like, you did that. Like you put that in their head. They're coming in, they're making their parents drive them to dance. They have a day off from school. They're like, I want to be in the studio.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing, instead of sitting in front of an iPad and watching Netflix or playing Roblox all day long. Like, I think that's amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think what it is, you said a little bit about it, but we had such a tough journey trying to figure it out ourselves. And like, yeah, our parents would give us some good advice, but we didn't want to listen. And I don't think our coaches were as
present enough.
involved as we were hoping for.
Yeah.
So now we have all this experience, and we just want to give it to the kids or all our students, so that they have an easier time and they're finding success way earlier.
Sounds very parental, right?
Yeah.
I want you to have a better life than I did.
Yeah,
Sure.
they're way ahead of where we were.
And they look up to you guys.
Yeah, and then the coolest thing about it is that you really get this sense of pride, especially when they achieve whatever goals they want to achieve.
Yeah.
It could be results, but it could be even just their mental state. Like, sometimes they, like, Nina said, they have insecurity issues. Most dancers
Everybody does.
has it.
I think
Yeah,
just people
everybody.
in general are insecure
So-
about something.
Just unlocking that in them, to see them going from shy to expressing themselves is beautiful, and if they do win some championship or some tournament competition and they turn around and they go, just say thank you, and they're like, it's all because of you. Like, those are
You're
some
gonna
of
make
the
me cry right
purest,
now.
those are some of the purest moments.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. How does it feel for you to like have that impact on those kids, knowing that like you're a role
There's
model for them
nothing
and you're
else that
serving them?
compares. There's nothing else that
Yeah.
compares. Honestly, I mean, when I said like made by dancers for dancers, in that sense, I mean, like I said, all of our coaches are current competitors or current dancers. So everything that we're giving to our kids is things that we've experienced, or things that we wish we had, or extra support that we wanted, or whatever. We're learning from our own experiences, and it's really awesome because our kids get to train amongst their coaches. That's also so different. So it's like on Saturday we'll have what we call pro rounds, which rounds is basically a competition simulation, like what we did last night, like to work on your stamina and everything. You do that.
Sure.
Well, you should be doing that to train and get ready for it. And on Saturdays, we'll like invite our kids kind of as a reward. Whoever did that well that week and stuff like that, and was practicing and not fighting with their partner and showing up to their classes and stuff. We'll say, okay, you can come to rounds on Saturday.
Yeah.
And they get to be around all of their coaches and they get to see us dancing. And honestly, it helps, at least for me, it definitely helps me because like I said, I'm a very big
we're
show
pushing
off.
ourselves.
I'm a
they're
show off,
pushing
so when I
themselves.
see my kids are watching me,
It's good,
I'm
we're
like,
training
I don't
together.
care if I'm dying. I'm gonna keep going. So
There you go.
For me, it's one of those things.
I love that. And your student, it's called Vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Where did you guys like come up with that name? It's a cool name.
I mean, we were going through a list of every single word that
It's actually
Yeah.
so
possibly
random. Yeah.
could
Yeah.
exist. But my mom brought it up.
Yeah,
Really?
it was. We were for months. We
Yeah.
were looking at things. We were trying to find things. We're like going back and forth, and we had like lists on lists on lists on
It
our
just
phone.
fit
and,
right because we
and
were
just
just
going
different.
through a bunch of stuff. And we were sitting in your parents' kitchen one day. We were just eating breakfast, and his mom is like super cute. She's super hyper vigilant, so she's like very excited and very nervous at the same time. And she's like, "Okay, what about this name? What about this name? What about this name? What about?" And we're like sitting there, we're like exhausted already. We're like, "No, no, no." She's like, "Vibe," and then keeps reading, and we're like both look at each other like, "Wait
That's
a second."
it.
And then she's
It
like,
fits
"That
because
one?"
it's edgy,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
young.
It's modern.
Modern.
Yeah. It's simple. It's so easy to say. I'm sure like
Yeah.
the logo is probably really cool too.
Where's my logo? Where's my hat? You made me hide my hat. There's the logo. Ta-da.
Sweet. Yeah.
Super simplistic.
Super
very
simple.
modern.
Yeah. Those are the best logos when they're so simple.
Yeah.
I love that. So where do you guys see all this going in the future? Obviously, I mean, you guys have done so much with it, and you guys are dancing around the country and coming back and still teaching. But where do you see it going?
I mean, we're going in the direction we want to go in.
Yeah.
We just want to keep pushing it.
Right.
So we want to take all our students to the highest level. We want to take ourselves to the highest level. We want the studio to keep expanding. Honestly, we're very homey vibe, so everyone's welcome. And we try to create this atmosphere where everyone feels like they're inspired. I remember.
It's like, who are you? Why'd you step foot
Yeah,
on
we're still
in our
competitive,
space?
but in like a supporting way. We're like pushing each other, and
Yeah.
it's like our studio versus the world. So it's like nothing's inside. Like
Yeah.
But we also have a really big like open door policy. We're always super welcoming to anybody that comes in. Like, you know, people training at other studios. Let's say we bring in a guest coach or we have a lecture or something. We're like, please, we're not spiteful or hungry. Where we're like, oh, you have to be part of our tribe. No, it's like you want to be part of our tribe. There's
you
a
go.
difference. There's a difference
Yeah.
because usually when people come through, they're like, oh my god, you have such like a family atmosphere here. Everybody's so nice. Everybody's so sweet and
Talkative.
supportive. Everybody
Good
always
energy.
leaves happy and
Yeah.
sweating and stuff like that, even when we have guests come in and things, and then they want to come back. They want to
love
feel it
that.
again because it's something that I think is missing in the dance industry in general is just support of each other. You know, we're all fighting for the same goal. We're all fighting for the same result. Like, I don't know. I think if we don't band together, then this industry is going to die. I
Absolutely.
mean, I thought it would be different after COVID, honestly. But I thought it would bring people together more and kind of make people a little bit more humble and like, you know, we almost lost all of this. Like,
Yeah.
entertainers in general were like, what do I do with my life now? That's what they meant by a real job. Oh my God, what happens now? And you would think after that it would be a little bit more humbling for people
Sure.
to be like, let's band together, let's make it stronger, let's make sure that this never dies. And it kind of, I think, had the opposite effect. So it's, you know, to each their own, but
No,
Yeah.
I think there's for sure a group of people who are about that,
oh yeah.
and there's a group of people who are not. You know, the good versus the evil. Who will triumph?
Right.
You know, there's that saying, it's like, here's to those that wish us well, and those that don't can go to hell. I think it was from Seinfeld or something. I love that. That's like the perfect little saying right there, I think.
But yeah, but running a studios and leading these kids it's a lot of pressure actually. You know, being the leader, always trying to come up with the next thing to take us to the next level.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of planning for the future. So we are trying our best. I think we want to eventually have a competition. Eventually, you know, expand to a bigger location, things like that. So I think that's.
Like multiple locations?
I don't know about that.
We got to
Yeah.
figure out a better
I mean, for me,
system
per-
for that.
You okay? $4.
Honestly, I think if we figure out a good system, it's possible.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it just feels like without us physically.
Without you, you guys
Yeah.
are the studio in a sense, right? Without you guys,
It's getting to a point where it's like, yeah, it's us, but we have a good team
Sure.
and
We have an awesome team. I think the only way we would be able to do something where it was like location based
Yeah.
is if it's like one of those people that's like part of our circle
Yeah, you'd have
would
to
go
build.
and be up like kind of the head of
Sure.
that sector.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I see it as a franchise. You know, we're not like I don't know, like a Target. It's just like you can
Yeah.
pop them up anywhere and it's
Right.
still going to be Target because
No, for sure.
for us, one of the main things that makes us that vibe is because there's a vibe in the
'Cause of the
studio.
people, 'cause
So
of the
I
people.
don't know how that would transfer over with like
No, we hire the right people.
that's but good
Yeah,
help
you gotta
is hard.
trust them. You gotta
good-
like truly
good
trust those
help is
people.
hard to find though. So it took us this many years to finally find like a really solid team that we have now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about this grand opening that you guys have going on. Is it March?
Well, not grand opening. It's our 2-year
2-year anniversary, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like a gala style. So people are gonna come in. It's gonna be like a cocktail hour, followed by like a dinner and show, followed by just a party. So we're gonna have an open bar, music,
Catering,
DJ.
music, photo booth.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Just a little way of showing appreciation to everybody. But the show is gonna be phenomenal. All our teachers are performing.
Nice.
Yeah, we did this last year. It was a huge success.
Oh, it was
awesome.
so much fun.
So much
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have it planned from 7 to 11.
But it never ends up working
It doesn't
that way.
end. It goes till. 3,
Yeah, it's
4
like
in
you
the
always
morning.
have like the client part of the party, and then you have like the after party basically with all of the coaches and everything. And,
Sure.
you know, because a lot of them come from far away. Like we have coaches that are coming from New York and Jersey and stuff like that. So we're in Philly, so
Yeah.
they stay over, and we have like a big studio sleepover basically, and we kind of just celebrate the year. It's like, okay, well, what are we gonna conquer this next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah,
Like, let's
we
go.
do events pretty damn big. So
Yeah.
we're gonna. I mean, we haven't thought about all the little details, but we're gonna. Well, we had this promotion going on about whoever leaves the best review gets to win a prize.
Oh, yeah, we have that
so we're gonna
contest
announce,
also going
yeah,
on.
we're gonna announce that during the party. So we like to do all these little things. We'll probably do some kind of raffles, stuff like that. We haven't planned everything yet. We still have a month. So
Good.
a little
Good.
bit more than a month.
It's exciting. You've been quiet over there.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, Ilia not speaking is like,
I feel like he's.
what are you concocting over there already, senor?
I'm learning.
He asked
listening.
one in-depth question, and from there he's been
Yeah,
analyzing, and that
trying to
scares
trick-
me.
Well, first of all, I'm resting after a marathon of vending, so I'm a little exhausted. And I'm just admiring you. You guys are wonderful people. You shouldn't be together, but you are.
Okay, now let's ask that question. Why do you say that?
Well, I find it fascinating that your language is psychology and emotion, and his language is tactical and definitive, and yet you still are. It's incredible. I love that what you guys said, that the end in mind is the plateau of camaraderie, despite speaking different languages.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Just watching, contemplating, and probably
Analyzing.
for the first time in my life, seeing how beautiful that is. How would I know day without night?
Yeah, we are opposites in many ways. I grew up in a very safe, sheltered home, kind of excluded from what the real world is like.
Yeah.
So I trusted people too easily, way too nice. Anina grew up with a
little more
tough-
edgy.
a little bit more tough
yeah.
upbringing, and the two of us really try to help each other in that sense. She pushed me to. I mean, she's the main reason why I had the courage to open up a studio. She believed in me when everyone else was trying to push me down. So I felt like most of the biggest moves that I've made in my life are because of her. And then I'm trying my best to help her feel loved and supported, and trying to peel away those layers of toughness.
You know, Shrek, like the onion, right? You gotta peel the layers off.
So I do have a question.
Oh God. He's
These
also
questions are-
smirking.
yeah,
So let's
they're
acknowledge the
devious.
smirk.
Do you guys think Ilia has like an evil laugh?
No,
I
he's
think
trying to get to the
maniacal.
nitty gritty. He's trying to get to something.
Yeah.
This is deeper than we all think it is.
I go ahead.
Ilya set all this up.
Shoot.
Look at his face.
I'm so scared right now.
How are you dealing with delegation when you are actually traveling and competing? Like I know you went to Europe recently. What was going on with the studio? How did you pull that off? That the studio is running and not being set on fire in your absence?
I mean, we have a good team. We really do. We have.
How did you do that? Good teams don't randomly pop up like mushrooms after the rain.
That's true.
What did you do?
People who are part of our team, they really want to be part of the team. They respect us. They know how hard we're working. They know how tough it is to run a studio. So, I mean, we have 2 front desk people that are managing scheduling and things like that sorts. And then we have a bunch of teachers who are ready to take over anything, like willing and wanting. So when we're away, they got it covered. They don't.
It also depends on how big the event is. Like, there's some events that, you know, let's say we'll be away and one of our other head coaches will be away, but then the third set of head coaches are still there, right? And then we have other times where, you know, all 3 of us are away. Then it gets a little bit tough in the sense of the lessons because all the junior instructors kind of have to take over things. But we have some really awesome people on the in the tribe, in the team that really do help. I mean, like he said, we have 2 front desk people that don't travel, they don't dance, so that makes it really easy because they're in house regardless, so they can kind of make sure everything is, you know, going good and still communicating with people and stuff like that. But then we also have one of who I call literally my right hand person. We have this really amazing girl named Jasmine, who is my saving grace when it comes to the studio, and coming from me, that says a lot because I can trust her with anything, with literally anything. I call her, I text her, she's like, boom, gets it done. She stays on top of me with some things. Did you place that order with Aida? Remember those people were asking? I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, yep, thank you, got it. But she's amazing. She's awesome. Like, for me, that's great. This guy really honestly never stops working.
Yeah.
He's still, like, even when we travel or we're on vacation, he'll, like, try to minimalize it, but he's still on the phone.
So it sounds
I'll
like you're-
kind of try to go ghost a little bit because if I don't, then I'm just like up all night long until 5 o'clock in the morning, like doing.
So it sounds
emails
like
and-
you have a lot of systems in place to keep this kitchen cooking. Well, my next question is, what's your favorite system that you have established, cultivated, and are actually maintaining?
Me personally, I can go.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I have a lot of extra sides to the studio aside from coaching. I mean, he does as well, obviously, but I handle the marketing for the studio. We have the boutique in the studio, so that's a lot of like also marketing and purchasing, all the video editing, all that kind of stuff, emails, this and that. I handle
a little
all
bit
of that.
video editing, yeah? You do a little bit of that?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So for me, what I found that works is the only time I can get all of that done and actually knock a lot of things out at the same exact time is at night after work. So I can be up until, like, let's say I get home from the studio around 11 or 12 o'clock. I could be up until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning doing the executive stuff. Not every single day, but that really works for me because I get very easily distracted, and especially if my phone is ringing or people are texting me for other things and blah, 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 it distracts me and takes me 10 times longer to get something done. So when it comes to all of that kind of stuff, I found that like when the world's asleep, Nina can kind of like attack and get things done. So that's kind of my thing of my contribution to the ship, as you said.
I think the word system is a little throwing me off, but I think one of the what I found is really working, and thanks to you, Ilia, is I made myself a schedule, and the schedule fulfills all my needs, personal, relationship, administrative work, teaching, like all this stuff. So I'm able to basically squeeze in everything that I need to in a day and get that fulfillment that I need.
Nice.
So I think that for me is the best. As far as within the studio, it really is like a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows their part very well, and there's not just one person that knows it. There's 2 or 3, and it's kind of very clear who's in charge of what part, and who to refer to. So honestly, like, we can be gone and we don't even need to check in. We know it's all taken care of and it's handled.
Lovely.
But of course, the studio's not the same without us. Of course, when we get back, everyone's like, "Oh, finally,
Even
you
our
guys
staff-
are back."
even our staff.
It's not.
course.
Our staff say the same thing. Like
Yeah.
our front desk, she was
Yeah.
literally like, "How long are you guys leaving for this time?" It's not the same. Like, don't go anywhere. But you know,
Yeah.
it's part of it.
Very
It's a
cool.
must.
So who's invited to your party?
Literally everybody.
The tribe.
So
Literally.
The whole
anybody,
tribe?
anybody can come?
Of course, anybody
Can Zach come?
Of course, I can come.
Nice. Can
Zach
I
is
come?
encouraged to come.
Absolutely.
Can I come?
Only
Zach-
if you
Zach
bring
is
your
hired to
only
come.
if you bring your personal muzzle, which is Maria.
Muzzle.
Somebody to keep you under control. Somebody to keep you,
Well,
publicly.
actually, I haven't.
Where?
I stopped drinking, so that's keeping me under control.
Congratulations. Was that causing a lot of your?
Well, I'm 18 days in with no alcohol, and the clarity I'm experiencing on so many aspects of my life is mind blowing. So you're talking, you're gonna party, you're gonna have a cocktail hour, and I'm already strategizing. Okay, what conversations?
I'll get you apple cider.
What
How
conversations?
about that?
do
I'll
I-
get you sparkling cider.
uh,
I used to love
too
that.
much
Topo Chico,
sugar.
bro.
Too much sugar.
Oh,
I'm already strategizing. If I come, what conversations am I having in my head so that I do not give in? But anyway, I don't need a muzzle. Apparently, stopping drinking was what I needed.
oh. Were you drinking a lot?
All by myself all the time.
Oh,
Really? No.
I-
It was a state shifting tool, and I just didn't want to do the work. So now that I can see all the work that I haven't been doing because I've been numbing it with alcohol, I don't need a muzzle.
that's very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. You'll have a sober, muzzle-free Ilia.
I'm so excited. Don't forget your fedora, though.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're a coach to him, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I've been
He
coaching
was pursuing for a couple of years, actually, right?
1 year. Okay.
Hunting.
2 years,
He
2
was
years, no?
hunting.
I'm always looking out for good men that have potential to
Yeah.
be great. I saw Eric a long time ago. I saw
That could
amazing.
be twisted in such a different way. I'm so sorry.
If
My
you-
brain went somewhere.
How so?
Everything could be. Everything could
I'm
be
looking for
twisted.
good men with
Especially from Ilia, right?
right? Exactly. I don't trust it. I'm like, should I be nervous? Sorry.
I see people's potential, and leadership is seeing somebody's potential and making them believe in that vision enough that they actually believe it themselves. So I would pepper and pursue Eric here and there with a little bit of comment, a little bit of feedback, and we had a conversation. It was absolutely randomly and unscripted. I was driving to some competition, sitting in a cab from the airport to the hotel, and I had a message from God. Hey, call this guy. And I just called him, and we just spoke. And I said some things, and he said, "Yeah, this is it. It's time." And we just started. And I think a lot of good things came out of it already, and it's only been half a year. But
That's awesome.
yeah, beyond this relationship, you guys are also my ambassadors. Thank you so much for choosing Aida. I'm so glad you like it, and thank you for pushing the brand.
No, of course. Yeah, but from my perspective, when you first started, approaching the subject, I was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm good. I got everything handled.
Yeah,
I was
everybody's
yeah,
good. Everybody's good.
I got everything under control. But of course, with age, you start to that adolescence, that ego starts to go out the window. You start to realize, like, hey, actually, I don't have everything under full control, and you think that you know it, but like you're trying to do it your way, and you're just hitting the wall.
Yeah.
So, that when Ilia called me, it was perfect timing. I felt like things were happening, or everything was moving forward, but like I felt very out of control of myself and my business and my relationships. So it was like perfect timing, and he was giving me such advice that was so perfect at the time, and still is. So
It's awesome.
I'm very thankful.
Thanks for your trust.
What do you think is like the biggest thing that you've gotten out of his coaching?
I mean, honestly, every week is a new lesson.
Yeah.
You're looking at me while I'm like smirking and laughing, but
Well, yeah, you're the beneficiary.
I am the beneficiary. I'm very.
She is a big talking point every week. Huge talking point every week.
I'm a problem.
No. You are a challenge.
I am a challenge. That's true.
Yeah, it's more like me
Come
realizing
on, it would be boring. If
where I'm acting as a child with you instead of as a man. So I think that is the biggest realization of what it means to basically nurture her instead of push her or press on her. Sometimes I'm very straightforward of what I want, and that doesn't really get the results that I need.
like I said, we also grew up in two very different family dynamics. So the way we perceive words and conversation and things like that is also very different. So especially myself, I've had a little bit more of an edgier side growing up, and I had to do a lot of things. I mean, I had amazing parents. They were super like loving, but the things I've experienced from a very young age, like kids don't see or hear about or live through at that point in time. You know, you're supposed to be a kid. So I was working from, my God, like almost since I hit double digits as a kid. I was already working. Like I was helping my dad in his law office. I was helping my mom in the dental office. I was, you know, modeling on the side as a kid. Like I was doing so many different things. And then, you know, you start to perceive things a little bit differently. And I was never one of those kids that was super controlled by their parents. Like I had a lot of trust. I had a good head on my shoulders and things like that. So a lot of the tension and animosity sometimes would come from like when I would be told what to do, and I'm like, my own parents didn't tell me what to do, or like command me like that. Like I'm sorry, I've gotten this far. So that like for me is a trigger. So it's like also learning how to speak to each other as well.
Yeah.
Like my dad's normal tone of talking would be yelling, like, but that was normal. And then if he was yelling, then forget it. The roof of the house is falling down. Like that's it. So it's like sometimes I also get this when I get very passionate, or like it sounds like I'm heated, but I'm not. And to him, that's like also a trigger. He's like, why are you? I'm like, I'm just talking. I swear. Like this is just my voice. I apologize. So.
So Nina, very interesting character. She has, I guess I would separate it like this. Like
Multiple personality
No.
disorder?
She has like she has this, I would say, is like a cover, like her masculine side where she's tough and she's straightforward and very business savvy and cutthroat. And then she has this very soft, feminine side, I'm gonna say it, that she doesn't really open up or show really anybody. And even I don't get a glimpse of it too much. So this is something that, you know, I'm working on with Ilia to kind of bring out that beautiful side of hers. The one
You
that
guys are plotting against me?
We're plotting for you.
Oh my God.
because
It's
when
too much.
when you're in tune with it, like, I mean, you're the reason why the studio exists. You're the reason why there's such a vibe. You're the reason why these kids look up to you. And I just want to keep pulling at that part of you and bringing that out of you.
Is he gonna propose
Definitely not.
on the podcast?
Yes, on this podcast.
Okay, now let's zoom in on this bead of sweat that's running down his forehead right now.
Coming down my back.
So can you imagine? That'd be a super sick proposal.
That's clickbait right there.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you got the ring?
Clickbait, sponsored by.
This is good.
Look at him. He's literally like, please,
I don't know what to say.
please leave me alone.
If I had to
Like,
propose, I would do
All right,
it later.
let's go to the next question.
Please, quick.
So what do you guys think
So
about
when
that?
are you thinking about proposing? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I need a water.
Awkward silence.
Exactly.
So what do you guys think about the Aida shoes?
You know, he converted me. Actually, I'll give you a very honest testimonial. I wore Ray Rose my whole life, like growing up, and I had a intermediary period where I was actually not dancing. Here's a fun fact: I was not dancing or competing for 10 years. I've only been back for 2.
Oh wow.
So this August was 2 years of us actually dancing together, and for me, 2 years of me training and competing again after 10 years of not doing anything. So I met this guy, and he's like, what are you dancing in? Like you need to try Aida. And I tried them and I hated them. I'll be honest.
Honest review.
Honest, I hated them. And I was like, I don't know.
Where's
I'm
this
like,
going?
I don't know that this is for me. He's like, I have this other one. Like, try this one. This is my own special creation. Remember you had that shoe that with like super skinny heel? Yeah. I fell in love with those. And then I ordered another pair of Aidas. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give it another shot. And this guy ordered me a 2.5-inch heel. And it didn't work. And I was like, okay, Aida's not for me. I don't know. It's not going to happen. And then everything ended up working out because I complained to him and he can't be wrong. So he's like, okay, you know what? We're going to do this and try to tell me you don't like it afterwards. And we found my perfect fit and I'm like obsessed ever since then.
23.5 3-inch slam.
There you go. 3.2. Oh, you did not
I'm
just
tired.
do that.
I'm tired.
You did not. I even have my own little concoction with the colors already.
Good. It's
But
a pleasure.
honestly, for me, it's the only shoe I'd probably ever wear. I've tried.
He's
all
tried a
other
bunch of
brands.
stuff, and it
I've
just
tried
doesn't
all
work.
the brands. People even like try to make me, just here, take this for free, and I try it. Nothing feels as comfortable. Something about the heel placement is perfect, and the way it snugs my foot, and they're quite durable. I mean, I'm dancing all day, every day, so they last me about like 3 months before they get like super slippery. 2-3 months.
He also wets his shoes.
Once the fabric kind of goes.
That's a lie.
That's not true. No, I'll
He's
wait about
a
a month. I'll
chaotic
wait about a
shoe
month.
wetter.
Yeah.
I don't wet my shoes. I'm like totally against
She
it.
doesn't know what she's talking about right now. No, I wait about a month.
Okay, you still do it.
Right.
See, I'm a feature Aida person because
But
I
also,
don't wet my shoes.
but also working with Ilia is extremely entertaining and fun. It's never dull. It's not just business. It's also you have this comedic side to it. So like
Sure.
you're gonna get some new joke or some kind
Like,
of
hey, you want to
interesting
get this
antics.
order placed? How did the chicken cross the road? I'm like,
Well, they're more entertaining than that. But
Like his elevator jokes.
Sure. Yeah.
They're good.
Whatever. And
give us a joke right now. 3, 2, 1, go.
I got out of the supermarket yesterday, and I saw a cop writing me a ticket. I was just in there for 5 minutes, and I come over and I tell him, "What are you doing, you asshole? Give me a break." He glared at me and just kept writing a ticket. Called him a dick, and he glared at me, started writing another ticket for worn tires. Then I asked him if his therapist makes him lay face down on the couch because he's so ugly. He got really worked up, started writing another ticket, and this continued. The more I insulted him, the more tickets he wrote. But I didn't care. My car was parked around the corner.
that's good.
That was delayed reaction. He's like, not impressed. That was my car. You did that to me.
He probably heard it. Well, what I do is before I go to a competition, I pick one solid joke and I just repeat it. This one I just told you, I probably said it 30 times already.
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's. I just love it. It's such a good
It's good, it's
marketing
good.
tool. Because you make someone laugh, they'll buy whatever you're selling. People love laughing. I've discovered this a long time ago. If I can make you laugh, I can make you pay.
So is that why you're successful? Because people laugh at you so much?
They don't laugh.
I'm kidding.
at
I'm
me.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I like the joke you said when we were there yesterday. You're like, we have a you look, you buy policy.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
That's not a joke. It's a policy.
I like that. That was a good one. You look, you buy. So that was good.
Yeah, sometimes I mix it up with a you touch, you buy. Yeah, it's okay,
Now,
man.
how does that work when it comes to people?
You have to be an empath. Some people they're not receptive to this kind of stuff. I've developed a skill where I read people fast, and I know exactly who I can get away with a
Now, the
raunchy
next
joke.
question is, how much do you actually care after you read the person what
I,
their
ca-
boundaries are?
I care. I care a lot. You have to be respectful. If I'm gonna have a relationship with anybody, I have to meet them where they're at. The only way we can influence anybody is if we know what already influences them. So if I'm in front of a timid person who is absolutely not into debauchery, I must adhere and toe that line. If I go into raunchiness, that's it. Relationship is ruined. Everything is wasted. If I get somebody who's just, I can see that they've been drinking and they're loud and obnoxious, I better mirror them. I better be loud and obnoxious. I better say stuff, maybe even profanity, because people do business with people who are like them. If you're going to sell anything, you better quickly adapt to who's in front of you.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It is.
Wisdom.
So when I sell to Nina, I turn into a really hot chick.
He does get the flirty eyes and everything. Like,
Let me see him.
there we go. We got the pout. It's good. It works.
That's pretty good.
It
That's
passes.
cool. Sweet.
No, actually, he's softened up around me a lot. I think it's maybe because I passed the test of all of his sarcasm and like still sticked around. Like he
Right.
recently, the last few times I've seen him, he's such a sweetheart. He's so cute. But yeah, I remember the Ilia I first met, it was like testing the boundaries. I'm going to throw this at you, that at you, like all of this stuff. And I'm just like, You don't know me, kid. Like you got something cut out for you too.
Yeah, you said it so well. Once people get into my inner circle of my heart, then it stops. There's no need for it. You're already in. You're good.
So it's a test.
Well, of course, it's a test. How do I know who is anybody until I know what sets them?
What they can handle?
What sets them off? Yeah, of course. I recently realized it's a very abusive way of having relationships, so I've stopped significantly because it's just unfair. Nobody signed up for that. Like they're just living their life. The school is over, so I
Is it though?
don't do that anymore unless I need to. So I'm using it more consciously. I'm keeping it holstered.
If you say so. The nervous laugh.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll wrap up. So grand opening, or sorry, I keep doing that. Anniversary.
Yeah.
When is it again?
March
March
2nd.
2nd.
And everybody's invited?
Everyone's invited.
How do people find out about it?
We're about to post it on social
Cool.
media.
215-704-0504 Vibe Dance Sport.
Gotcha. And how do people find you?
No, you could.
We're everywhere.
Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
And what is the Facebook and Instagram?
Vibe Dance Sport.
Simple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We'll
So if you
see
guys are in the
anything that
Philly
comes up.
area,
Yeah, we are.
check them out. Sweet. Awesome.
Thank you for
We'll
having
wrap
us.
up. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you, guys.